The real number system is a way to organize all the numbers we use in math and in everyday life. So here's how it breaks down. So on a number line, you have natural numbers, which are your counting numbers. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, right? So these are your counting numbers. Like if you're going to count how many eggs are in a carton, you're going to use your counting numbers. You're going to start 1, 2, 3, 4. Or how many apples are in a basket? It's going to be counting numbers. Now your whole numbers are just like your natural numbers. So these are going to be our natural numbers. And this will continue on in that direction. Your whole numbers are also going to be your natural numbers, but it's going to include 0. Right? So now these are going to be your whole numbers. Now, whole numbers are just like your natural numbers, but they include 0. So there's 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Next, we'll talk about your integers. So integers expand whole numbers to include all negative numbers. So this means integers include numbers like -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on. So your integers are all your positive and all your negative counting numbers, including 0 in both directions, positive and negative. So in natural numbers are whole numbers, but not all whole numbers are natural numbers because of that 0. All whole numbers are integers, but not all integers are whole numbers because that also includes the negatives. So now let's talk about rational numbers. So rational numbers are going to be everything that you see on this so far, plus they're also numbers that can be written as fractions. So 1/2, which would be right here, right? This would be 1/2. -3/4, right? So -3/4 is going to be here. So those are going to be your rational numbers. Now, the 1 can also be a rational number because that can be written as 1/1. So it could also be written as a fraction. And it needs to be written as a fraction where both the top and the bottom parts are integers. So it has to include one of these whole number, negative and positive, or 0 in the top or the bottom of the fraction. And rational numbers include all whole numbers and decimals that stop or repeat, like 0.75. So 0.75 is the same as 3/4. So that's a rational number. Or 1/3 is the same as 0.33333 repeating. So this can be represented as a fraction with 2 integers. So that's also a rational number. So now we got rational numbers, which is an integer over an integer. And then finally, we got irrational numbers. So irrational numbers includes irrational numbers are special because they can't be written as a simple fraction. So it's all the other numbers that you'll find in between the integers or the rational numbers that cannot be written as a simple fraction. So these are going to be something like the square root of 2, or we all know pi, which pi is approximately 3.14159, but it's not a repeating number like 1/3 is 0.333 repeating. So we could predict what the hundredth decimal digit is in this scenario, but we can't quite predict what the 100th one is going to be without actually doing the math and writing it out. So these are going to be your integers, or I'm sorry, your irrational numbers. They're going to be all your numbers that can't be written as a simple fraction. And together, your irrational and your rational numbers, remember your rational numbers include your natural, whole, and integers, are all going to be part of what we call real numbers. Later we'll talk about imaginary numbers, which are going to be slightly different than real numbers. But imaginary numbers are not going to fit into any of these categories. So this makes up your real number system, starting with your naturals, which is your countings, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Your whole numbers are also your natural numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and up, plus 0. Your integers are going to be your natural whole numbers, but also going in the opposite direction, the negative. And then your rational numbers are going to be any number that can be written as a fraction of two integers, an integer on top of another integer for that fraction. And then finally, you have your irrational numbers, which are numbers that cannot be written as a simple fraction of two integers. And together, all of those make up your real numbers.